mention that person. We had just been talking about that man because we gave him the lecture already, and he left for a little bit. He's a powerful demonstrator with bad habits. He's communicating on the street. So it took us months, but we removed it, and now it's his responsibility. Right. No, you have, but we're talking about infrastructure shared issues and certain things, like saying that pedestrian blah blah blah, and I told you that that is an incomplete citation of that ordinance. That's all I'm arguing. I'm not arguing about the fact that it got out of hand with nesters. We have to fight that every day, and I think we are doing a very good job recently. I've seen a lot less mess, a lot more seriousness about it. And like I said, we'd already talked to the gentleman. We will continue to do so. But please don't confuse those issues about messiness and not allowing accessibility by a few individuals with the demonstration, the positive impact of a protest, etc. That's political. That's different than the nuts and bolts of trying to get people oriented to the demonstration. We're trying to do a better job of that. We don't want you here having to be better. That's not right. It's all over the city. You guys pick on this area a lot more than you do other areas of the city. I've seen stockpiles of nests everywhere. In fact, the city. Okay, so why is it that I see nests in other areas and that here we have our demonstration occurring? Why is that? Okay, well, because that's an helpful position.
Different out here on the day shift. Day shift.
That sign, one of the things that I believe is not, as it says, this sidewalk is for pedestrian movement only, which is here. And the fact is, that ordinance that it cites only refers to the pedestrian use zone, which is the area closer to City Hall. We are beyond that line of the demonstrating area.
The engineers, the ordinance also has some language that allows the city engineers to designate portions of sidewalk as pedestrian use, presumptive pedestrian use.
The same code that's quoted there.
The ordinance that enacted that code, yes.
Okay, this is
That's the code.
Code.
Right. It's the ordinance that enacted. See, council acts through ordinances. People often call the code ordinances, and that's not the case. So it's essentially the bill, the legislative bill that the council passed authorizes the city engineer to create pedestrian use only zones in areas that are not presumptive of pedestrian use.
Why is that?
Because the engineers came out and looked at the situation. As I understand it, the situation here is, as I understand it, the engineers saw that there was a lot of blockage of traffic from the parking spaces to the sidewalk, and determined that it was unsafe. And
so this protest was what you're saying, and you're witnessing this, is that our protest?
No, I'm not saying that.
Our protest, you said, here, demonstrating
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about people protesting. I said that there's blockage for whatever reason, protests, people sleeping, stuff piled up. There's a blockage of the sidewalk that made it difficult for people to get out of their cars, come into City Hall to business, get out on and off the sidewalk. It has nothing to do with the speech that people are doing. People can stand and be pedestrians and hold signs and engage in speech. It's encouraged here. It's a good place for it right in front of City Hall. But putting piles of stuff and laying down and sitting on the sidewalk, sitting on chairs and that sort of thing is causing traffic engineering. So the traffic engineers, authorized by the ordinance I'm talking about, came and they put in the signs.
All right, so if I sit in front of City Hall on that real estate, which is the primary visual residence of demonstration, and you had put up a sign, the city had put up a sign, did they appreciate us doing that?
imputing motives to the decision makers here. And the city very carefully had its engineers make the decision, not its political and policy people.
This is amazing. You know what? Just look at how we're dying in process.
Yes, and you are encouraged and certainly allowed to speak your mind out here. It's the blockages that are the problem.
And the officer pointed out that one judge's decision doesn't make the code automatic. But it should mean something that the judge ruled that this particular code, in response to Impala, which the city said anything else is a structure. And in response to Impala, the judge said it's not a structure because a structure is not defined in the code, and therefore you have to go to the definition of common use of area and the context of the code. The code said light building. And she said this is nothing like a building. You can't just start calling everything structures, not buildings. So if I were to do this again, then we have a pattern of the city misusing its code as the judge saw it. Why would they do that over a chair?
I'm not going to speculate about what you might do or what the city might do. Now, chairs are much different than Impala, and I think you read more into the case than is there. So,
So you're going to
chairs,
take a chair.
the city considers a chair a structure, yes.
And the other thing is the nuisance. I always hear the officer at the end, not the officer, but I always hear at the end, well, I have a general ability to just abate a nuisance on the sidewalk. That's not true according to this. This says that in the pedestrian use zone, section L says abate a nuisance. But there's nothing outside of the pedestrian use zone where we demonstrate that says you can just abate a nuisance. In fact,
Title 3.
right here, Title 3. Please. Right here it says that the Ninth Circuit Court of Los Angeles, you know this case?
Sure.
You cannot take up to this person's property or anything else's property. The procedure is followed.
And there's no question of taking. Generally, when the nuisances have been abated, they've been removed, and people can pick up their property somewhere else.
Yeah, that's not.
What was going on in Los Angeles is that they were actually throwing stuff away. Poor people weren't able to afford it. So,
Do you think that a housing person can go up easily up by the rose garden and get their stuff? Because I've been there. I know how you would drive and walk or take a bus. You think that's and unlocked. And this is a demonstration. It's not
that's
the
something
same
we can.
process.
That's something to talk about, and it may be that things are taken as property evidence. They may have taken the precinct. They may have stored. We need to work on exactly where this stuff goes and we'll make a case-by-case decision on what a nuisance is made.
People have had things taken from them in this process that have been life and death matters. We've had things taken from them for the rest of their life, like birth certificates, and they are not there when they go to sign them, right? That's a possibility of identity.
And the police have been telling people that if they leave their stuff unattended, that's a possible consequence. So it hasn't unexpectedly.
We have so many people on the street who carry their entire burden. They cannot go, for example, into the court. He can't bring his backpack. You can't just go into a shopping mall because they don't want you to have a backpack. Bringing everything with you and not being able to set it outside on the curb for a couple of hours and come back to it, that is a tremendous burden on these people who already have enough hassle.
And that's something to talk to council about. It's a policy matter.
Okay, it's a policy matter, exactly. And I feel like if we work together on finding people who have personal property on the sidewalk.
Has some storage space, doesn't it?
What?
But Clark Commons has storage space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's say you get there at
That's
6
funded by
in
the
the
city.
morning and there's 12 spots and you save your $5 over the weekend and you're able to remember every week to get there, stand in line in the rain. It's not reasonable. There's not very much locker space. And the same thing happens when somebody says, like Mr. Freeman said to me, we don't have to be here, you can go to a shelter. There's 2,500 people left over. The reason that these people are not in a shelter is because they're demonstrating, but if they went to a shelter, they displaced somebody who couldn't pack it on the street. That's why some people choose not to go to that shelter. So, I mean, there's only like shelter room for like a third of the people who are out here. And the reason it grew 30% last year is because City Hall has managed to have it out of sight, out of mind.
Sounds like you have something you want to say to the council members and the policy makers.
Yes, of course, but you're enforcing this code, you're interpreting this code with these signs. And you're saying that these people just declared this block out of the blue that we couldn't be here.
You've heard me say that
The
the traffic
engineer.
engineers did that.
But that was as
And
a
it wasn't
result
out of the
of
blue.
protesters, because they said that
can you assume that? And I didn't say that.
That's all that has been here sleeping since December. So it just happened. So yes, of course it's because of the protest. And that is a problem. If you're trying to stop a protest, it's a big problem. This isn't your mission.
I assure you nobody's trying to stop the protest. In fact, the protest is continuing today, and it's continued for months.
Right, despite
So it's a
everyone's
matter,
best efforts.
as
it
you
is
mentioned
continuing.
before, it's a matter of managing the sidewalk. And
We
you expressed some difficulty in having doing the very same
Okay,
thing.
yes, and I believe that the nuisance-y stuff that you're talking about with big piles of nesty stuff,
It's much better.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And we're trying to take care of that, we're willing to take care of that today, but what I don't understand is things like this being reserved for people getting in and out of their cars. If we leave access, we need to be able to sleep there in demonstration. That must happen.
Yeah, we tried a long time to tolerate that, and it didn't work. It just got worse and it got worse.
Well, you just said that it's been better over here.
Yes,
So
but yeah, on the edge, yeah,
So-
certainly things
so
are
it
better
will
than the
be-
big piles.
it will be better right here. We'd like to be
And
left
it wasn't.
alone.
See, it went for weeks and months, and it got worse.
You said it was better here.
But, so, yeah, but before the engineers made that a pedestrian use only zone, it had been tolerated for a long time in the sense that there wasn't enforcement, and
Right.
protests couldn't manage it.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed
Well,
to be
there.
able to
Did you
manage
see
it.
how many people were here? We don't have 100 people surrounding City Hall right now. We don't have 100 people here. All right. They did not want to say abide by these codes or risk their stuff or whatever. It
Let me
was
ask-
difficult.
Let me ask you this: what's the difference for you in terms of getting your message across between that area and this area, and why does sitting or obstructing traffic from the sidewalk? Why is that critical delivery of your message?
Right. Sleeping has to be done. Now, you can sleep and still allow passage because I know that blocking is an intent and say an officer asks you to move out of the way or somebody
It's the
asks
crime
you.
of blocking, but just being an obstruction problem.
Okay, so we can sleep here and have space for people to walk around, and the reason that we need to be here is to be the most visible because we feel like people are invisible, and we have to get this camping ban overturned. People need to protect themselves to live as a priority. If we actually did that, think of this vision. If we actually let people protect themselves, they wouldn't stay homeless. Right now, they're going to jail, they're getting for living, right? They're getting sick. When a person can be on the street safely, they can collect rent for a few months and then get out. Right now, this is a bottomless pit. This camping ban is inhumane, it's unconstitutional, it's against every convention ever. So we have to do something. We have to demonstrate. I wouldn't be spending the night in rain and snow this winter and last winter if I didn't believe that they could see it and change. If I thought that I was talking to a brick wall, I wouldn't be out here. That's why we have to listen. They're not listening yet. They have to listen. We have to get the public here. It's taken a long time. That's why we have vigilante. They may complain in here, but we're reaching people around Portland through our video interviews and through our, talking to people on the street, through talking to other organizations. It's making an impact. So just hang on a little bit longer. The problem isn't that homeless people are nesting. The problem is that they're on the street. We've got to do something about that. If you could just deal with the demonstration long enough for them to change the law, you wouldn't have any of that. You shouldn't have anyone on the street. You shouldn't be comfortable with that. And honestly, I want to make them sick because people are dying and they're going to do it on their doorstep, not in some back alley. But we at least can provide a little bit of safety and a little security for folks. That's all we're trying to do is have a demonstration here.
Appreciate the strength of your convictions. Please find a way to get your point across without causing the traffic.
I think that we could actually, let me ask you this. Would you allow just a little bit of chalk? Tiny bit of chalk. Instead of calling it graffiti. It's not, hopscotch isn't graffiti. If we could just have a little bit of chalk, I think we could ask demonstrators to leave a certain amount of space and it would be easier. If you would give that compromise to allow us a little tiny bit of chalk as if it was a parking space. Can you do that?
Well, the engineers
No
have
compromise.
decided, that's the chalk. Signpost
front of City Hall for a demonstration. That's what the City Hall is for.
Again, you can demonstrate all you please there.
Right,
Please
we're
don't
gonna
obstruct.
leave.
Please don't obstruct.
We will try to be less obstructive.
And you're going to run the risk of having a lot of. Yeah, we're getting circular here. You know what
We're gonna run the risk of what?
the law imposed.
Having the law imposed, where we would go to court because we're arrested and we would challenge the law. I suppose that is a risk. Right. I wish that you would take away the idea that if we protest and if we work together, possibly, because what you're saying
It didn't
turns
work
off.
before. It didn't work at all.
Right, well you just said that it was a lot better now over
Oh,
here.
it's a lot better, but before it was just awful. Just a
We
mess.
had a lot of people here. They needed a refuge. We had to figure out how do we take care of that.
Yeah, we're on camp. We've asked and answered all of this stuff.
Okay,
Okay.
you're done. Okay.
I mean, this isn't the first year this has happened. This
I
has
know.
been going on for years. and
I
years.
know. Homelessness rose 30% last year. That's a real shame. It shouldn't be still happening. We shouldn't be having this conversation anymore. I'm ashamed of my government right now. This is genocide. This is
Which
city
simply
code.
is
People
not a
die
personal
over
deal.
petty
We're
city code
simply-
and the city hall pretends like they don't know.
We are simply informing you of the laws and how those will be applied.
I hear you. Right. Thank you for the exchange.
Thank you.
People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. People die over petty city code while City Hall pretends like they don't know. Out of sight, out of mind, into graves, in the van. Out of sight, out of mind, into graves, in the van. Out of sight, out of mind, into out of sight, out of mind, into graves, in the van. Out of sight, out of mind, into graves, in the van. Out of sight, out of mind, into graves, in the van. Out of sight, out of mind, into graves, in the van. Is it working? Yay. Who we got? 3 viewers, yay. Come chat with us, you guys. I'm gonna go move my car to the hot barn. And how's the battery on that? Do we know?
It just gave a warning about
Okay.
15.
99's battery should be fine. I'm gonna give him the. he had just finished telling me how this was absolutely much better than it had been back when there was 100 people here. And then he told me that it didn't work before when we were sleeping there, and that's why they put up the sign. Yeah, but that was far after all the 200 people were gone that they put up that sign that was targeting our protest. That's the only people who've been sleeping there are protesters, and now it would take somebody getting arrested for sleeping in that area to say that it was wrong of them to even try to put up that zone. I don't care if it's a car loading. The point of the demonstration is to make some of those people sick enough to give a crap, right? We have to have this real estate. It's not okay to be just over here and over here when sleeping. But, you know, they just dig their code. Anyway, I'm going to take my phone, so there's some serious stuff happening. Do you think you could get on, just in case? Because who knows what they're going to do. These guys just do not give a damn. I mean, I'm free. Alright, I'm gonna go. Thank you, Josh TV 99. I'll be right back.